when I started making this one, I didn't even have the pattern written down. So we're much further along than we were a week ago. Hey, Max. Hello, Maxine. Are you just gonna stand right in front of the camera?
Oh my gosh, it's the day before I said that the video needs to go live. I need to film something, and more like we get to see what happens during the week. It's a hot. How I have never had these before, I have no idea, because these should be in my booth all the time, no matter what. This should have been the first thing in my booth. Space for Sunflowers, and I have sunflower keychains.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the best markets that I've ever had. So let's talk about what sold. Hey, welcome or welcome back. My name is Jen. This is Space for Sunflowers. And if you are new here, this is my crafty space where I talk about all things knit and crochet. I have a crochet business, Space for Sunflowers, and I do market recaps, prep, patterns. I haven't released any patterns yet, but I will talk about other people's patterns and just pretty much anything that's going on in the knit and crochet space. If you are new, welcome. If you are an old friend, welcome back. Today is going to be a bit of a roundup of some things over the past couple of weeks. It won't be um, like a live, it won't be quite like a vlog where we go through every single thing that's been through the week, because you know what? I haven't been here in the past week. I took off some time after finishing up my chaotic March, which was 4 markets in 1 month. No, this is not my full time job. So, 4 markets in 1 month was a lot. The end of the month, it was my birthday, so family came to visit. And then we hopped on a plane and flew across the country for a little vacation in California. One of my very best friends from college was married over the past weekend from when I'm recording this. So, congratulations to them. We had an amazing time catching up with old friends, celebrating the happy couple, and then getting in another vehicle and taking a road trip. So, the wedding was in San Jose, California. And then we took another road trip up to Napa with some friends and spent 3 days doing wine tours. So, it's been a lot. It's been fun. It's been amazing. I'm a little tired, I'm not gonna lie, but it has been so much in the past month and it's been great. It's great to be back. It was great to get away. I did bring some yarn with me on the trip. Not a whole lot though. I wasn't going to bring yarn because of the type of trip this was going to be. I knew I wasn't going to be sitting around doing nothing yarning. The only time I actually crocheted anything was when we were at the airport. I did crochet on the flight out to California. I did not crochet on the flight back because we took the red eye. That was the other thing. We did the wedding activities. Then we went to Napa. The day we traveled, the day after the wedding, we did one wine tour, which was amazing at Mayacamas. It was a fantastic tour. We got to go on a four-wheeler ride all through the vineyards, had a private tour. It was amazing. I don't think that's their usual experience. I think it was the fact that there were just the four of us that were there. So he was like, let's do something interactive. And like, we were game. So it was awesome. Then we did 3 more tours the next day on the wine trolley. And then the final day we did 2 tours. So that's a total of 6 tours in 3 days. Drove back down to San Francisco and took the red eye at 11:30 Pacific time across the country. I am still catching up on sleep a little bit. I was able to rest when we got back, but it has been a whirlwind. Yeah, so all that to say, not a whole lot of makes done during the trip, but before the trip, yes. So I had broken down the items that I want to get made for this next market. My next market is going to be at the end of the week when this goes live. It's a night market, and in order to prepare for that, I knew I was going to have about 3 weeks. I split my list up into three sections. So the first week, which I'm still working on, let's be honest, I didn't get through everything before I left. But my first week was to replenish things like my coffee bean cozies, my coasters. I really leaned in heavily to the coasters. My crossbody slings for water bottles and hair scarves. So I am working my way through that list. I have the coffee bean cozies done. Did I put them behind me? Let's check. I'm holding this today because I found that yes, I did. I found that my sound hasn't been at the quality that I want it to be when I'm wearing it. I think it gets like blocked by my chin or something. So I'm hoping this sounds better. I'm hoping this sounds better. I hit the button. So, in this video. So, coffee cozies. I did three of them. So, we have a blue one with the shades of blue and white. We have sort of this mint and yellowy coral color one. And then I did one in a variegated yarn. And this pretty pastel, sort of rainbowy variegated yarn. I had some of that left. So I made that in that. So that's the three of those. And those have been selling pretty well for me this market season. So I have a little enamel charm on them. They're $12 each, and they've been selling really great. The pattern is from Warm and Fuzzies by Amy. As always, any patterns I mention or highlight in this video will be linked directly down below in the description, so you can check those out there. And made a wide variety of yarns, to be honest. I, at this point, have lost track of where my cotton acrylic worsted weight yarns are. Not where they are, but like where we are in the stash. So I have them all put into my system. I will look them up when I do inventory, probably this weekend to do a batch of inventory, so I'm not leaving it all to the last minute. But I know it's all over the place. It's a mix of loops and threads, sugar and cream, um, big twist, premiere. It really is. It's just a matter of what I grab in what color at what time. I am hoping to work through this stash so that I can place another order for cotton worsted weight cotton yarns and just lean into the ones that I have found to be my favorite. But before I do that, I'm challenging myself to work through the stash. So I dropped one. That is that. Great job, me. Then the next thing that I have been focused on, I do like holding this because I don't have to worry about like looking at the camera to have you hear me, are coasters. So the Morning Hookers blog has a pack it's a post, but I call it a pack of blossom coasters for springtime. And I love all of them. So I did 3 sets of the cherry blossom. I stack them two, I do them in sets of two, and I stack them with one variation facing one way, one variation facing the other way. So that way, when people pick them up at market, they can sort of flip them over and get an idea of what the whole set will look like. Not every coaster is going to come out exactly the same. Flowers, you know how it is, but I try to at least show the biggest differences by holding them like this or stacking them like this so that people can get an idea of what they're buying before they purchase. Super, super quick, easy to memorize patterns. They all start exactly the same for the first few rounds. And then really the only difference is in the last round or two where you add the shape of the leaf. So the cherry blossoms have sort of these ruffled edges, which are very cute. And of course, she does include the instructions to add the center, I think it's the stamens. Um, I think it adds a lot to these, a lot. Like there are ones that I looked at and I'm like, and then I put the yellow in the middle and I'm like, love it. So I just think that's a really great way to elevate the whole look of them. So I did one, two of the cherry, three. I gotta get the third one. Of the cherry blossoms. And when I bring them to market, I just hook them together with the price tag so that they're all in a pack. And then, like I said, you can flip them to see the variations. And I do tend to do this with these where I'll do a solid. I'll just pick one up. And then I play with color. So as I'm running out of yarns, I might add some whites. I might mix different, in this case, pinks. Um, and I used a mix of like solid and variegated yarns. This one is just a complete solid set. And then this one I reversed. So for one of them, I did the whites closer to the center, and then the other one, I did the whites toward the edge. And I do that so that there's variation. They all use across the three sets, like I did them in batches, and I will use the same colors across the sets, but I like to mix them up so that they're different. I don't like to make them exactly the same. So, and I think that looks better at the booth too, where if you have like different versions of them, slightly different variations of them out, it sort of all just looks full and nice. I don't know. I may be making up things at this point. Who knows? But that's that. So, and for the cherry, I did pink. And I may cut this out where I keep turning around. For the plum, I only did two because I had a set that I had already made of the plum. And I did purple because plum, purple. I know that the blossoms themselves are not necessarily pink and purple and like orange for peach, but I liked doing it that way because I felt that it helped me differentiate like immediately when I'm looking at it, like, oh, that's plum, because it's purple. And also so you get some different colors on the table. I didn't want everything to be white and like light pink, so I got the two sets of plum. And then three again for the peach, which I did in sort of corals and yellows, which I love. And these and the plum are the most similar, but the plum has a more rounded blossom edge, and these are more pointy. So again, I just love the fact that there's differences across the sets, across each individual set. This one I ran out of the variegated, so he's got a little bit of an edge to it, but I like it. Very cute. And then the last one, I kind of leaned in, not kind of, but I really leaned into the yellow and pastel look. We have the deeper coral in the center, but I really wanted to make it look different. So that's that for the coasters. It's actually not that for the coasters because I am still working on coasters, believe it or not. But I've moved on to work on sunflower coasters because Space for Sunflowers must have sunflower coasters. So I've got my yarns out. These are the ones by Higgy Crochet, and it's in process, so I can just show like the colors. But I'm working with creating different color sunflowers. And then I have a couple different colors for the baskets. So these are the ones that you make the baskets for. And in the sunflower case, the baskets are the leaves. So you do them in green. And then I've got my centers made for the what will be the yellow sunflowers. And then I found that I bought so much of this coral color at some point or at multiple points at Michael's. So I wanted to play with making orange centers for the sunflowers, but when I held it up against my yellow, I wasn't as excited about it. So then I started Googling, first of all, can sunflowers have orange centers? They totally can. But then looking at pictures of sunflowers, and I got inspired to make full solid in the coral because it's such a unique color for sunflowers. I thought that that would be fun and it would add some depth, I think. So I think if we add them to the baskets and we put a mix of the solids and then the yellow, and then each individual coaster will either be orange or yellow with brown, but together it would look like a bouquet of sunflowers and you could actually see the individual coasters in there. So I'm going to play with that. I like that idea. Um yeah, so that's what I'm working on today. Whew, and then moving on to try to finish this list so then I can get on to what's actually supposed to be this week's list and then actually get to the final week's list. So this week was mostly coasters, home accessories, and actual accessories. The list that was supposed to be for this week is keychains, a couple of plushies. Yeah, keychains and a couple of plushies. And then the final week, which was supposed to be next week, I have my 2 custom orders, which absolutely have to be done. I've already got um, the crossbody, dragon scale crossbody in the pastel rainbow, almost complete. So I just need to finish that up. I started that before I left, put a stitch marker on it to hold my spot, and I'll finish that one up. I also made, that is what I brought and made on the plane. So I made a couple crossbody, this one in the purple. I think the color, this is those Karen cupcakes. And I think the colorway was called grape soda for this. And I love it. This one's a little bit bigger than they normally come out. I think my tension was just super loose because I was tired. Um, but I like how roughly it is. It's really pretty. And the colors. And let me grab my other one because it's packed. Okay. So, and then this was, I made up one of each. So this was on the way out. And I was awake on the plane. I made the granny square version with the sunburst square. This is another one of those Karen cupcakes. They work so well for this. And the color changes work. I did not plan these color changes at all. I didn't break down the balls or anything like that. But for these squares, this one, these squares in particular, this whole pattern in particular, it just works out really well to have the stripes at the bottom and then the blossoms. They pretty much work up exactly as, you know, if I had planned it, I would want them to. There might be a little bit of crossover here and there from round to round, but I mean, overall, I really like how these come out. And then this colorway was Tutti Frutti. So I got a couple more of each of those to make. I got to put the buttons on them, but really happy with how this is. And reminder, I need to get this pattern out now that I'm working from it because I hadn't, well, when I started making this one, I didn't even have the pattern written down. So we're much further along than we were a week ago. This pattern I had written down with the granny squares, but I hadn't written down the dragon scale version. So now I've got both of these written down and I need to get it out into testing. I need to get it typed up. It is typed up, but get it like designed, laid out, ready for testing, and then put out a tester call for this. So if you're interested, watch this space slash Instagram space for sunflowers, which is where I will announce the tester call when I am ready to get this out. And I want to get this out sooner rather than later. Who knows? Maybe it will go live by the time this video releases. I've got some time. That might happen. Um, so yeah. So that's super great. I just need to put the buttons on those and then those will be done. I got a couple more, like I said, to make. But they've also been selling well for me this season. I'm really happy to see that these have started to sell because I think they're a great idea. Um, I mean, born out of necessity, I'm constantly carrying around a water bottle. I constantly don't have enough hands. So that's where the idea came from for these. What else? I think, let's see, that's all I have made so far. I'm going to continue working on the sunflower coasters and I will check in again in a bit. Maybe not today, but maybe in another day when there's more makes to share for this upcoming market. Hello. I figured I would come back in and check in before this video goes live. I have been plugging away. It's been a busy weekend so far, so a little bit of breaks here and there, but some things have been gotten checked off my list. One thing that I do, oops, cleaning up something on my desk while I talk. One thing I do want to note is that I'm still working on the list from the week I left to go to California. We're just going to sit with that for a minute because, again, still cleaning up things on my desk. Because I am nothing if not a perfectionist, if not a completionist, if not somebody who is just trying to make sure I get through everything on the list. I don't know if we're going to get through everything on the list, to be perfectly honest. I know that there's a few things that I absolutely have to make for this market. One of which is I need to finish my custom order for the Dragon Scale crossbody water bottle sling. That's almost done, so I'm not too worried about that, but I do also have to make a raccoon. So I have the pattern for the raccoon. I just need to hunker down and make said raccoon. So that may be tonight's project because I don't want to leave it for the last minute. But before I move into the less squidgy yarns, I am trying so hard to just power my way through everything that I wanted to get done using worsted weight cotton and acrylic yarns. And that's why I say squidgy, because some of them are like this. You're not gonna be able to tell what it feels like. But you can see it's 100% cotton. It's like a washcloth texture. It gets to you after a while. It definitely gets to you. So let's go through a few of the makes that I've made since the last time we checked in, and then we will get back into the making. Once again, as always, I'm turned away from you because I have my things behind me, but I don't have them in front of me. Obviously, if they're behind me. Good gracious. Can you tell I've been running on all cylinders lately? All right. First up, and again, if I know the name of the designer, I will say it out loud. If I don't, I will make sure to look it up and include a link in the description below so that everybody will be credited. I definitely want to show love to the designers who design the amazing patterns that I've used. They put so much time into it. So, my caveat out of the way, let's talk about it. So, first up, I have been making more bandanas. I know this is the Pico hair scarf. I think this one's by the Turtle Trunk. In fact, I'm almost positive it is by the Turtle Trunk. So this is the Pico hair scarf, and it just has such a lovely like texture to it. I love it. I love this pattern so much, and I loved doing it in this yarn. This is the first time I did this in the Lion Brand 24/7 yarn, which I had purchased to make a different bandana pattern. And working with it, I was like, I think this is really going to work out nice for the rest of my hair scarves patterns, and it does. I had previously been using Premier Cotton Sprout, which is so soft and so lovely. But the two things I have to say about it is it's very heavy. I think because it's 100% cotton, so it's very heavy and it splits. This yarn is not heavy and does not split. It has a really nice texture to it. It's got nice structure. It shows the stitch textures really well. I can't say enough good things about this yarn. So this will be my new go-to yarn for hair scarves. So I've did one in this sort of, I do not know the colors names, but this one in sort of this deeper rose color. I did one that was blue. I ran out of the blue. You can see I have a couple ends I need to weave in over there and over here. I ran out of the blue, so I did the edge in the gold, and I think it looks really nice. I did all of these on a 5 millimeter hook. Some of them are bigger than others because honestly, tension just depends on how relaxed I am in the moment working on the pattern. And I did a third one in all gold. So really pretty. The pattern also has like multiple sizes. I just do it in the medium size because that's the one that can span between kids and adults. There is a small, which fits kids. There is a large that fits adults, and then there's the medium that can fit either. So I do that. So I have the most versatility at markets. If anybody wanted a custom one in a different size, I would absolutely make it for them. It would just be a matter of um, them requesting it in that size. I like to keep it straight, simple, all in the medium. I think I sell these for $20. I can't remember. I'll look it up and put it on the screen. So that is that. Really great, easy to memorize pattern. Knocked a few of these out while watching Traders, to be honest. Which now I am watching Traders. So excited. I'm into the Traders. I'm locked in. Love it. I am all the way back at season 1 though, so not caught up because again, perfectionist, completionist. I'm going to go from the beginning to the end. All right, next pattern is the Whimsy hair scarf. I do not remember the designer for this pattern, but it's a free pattern on their blog. And this is the same hair scarf that I wear at the markets themselves. I love it. It's very lightweight, very versatile for hot days. It just keeps the hair out of your face, and I love it. So I did one in brown, and I did one in light pink. This one is bigger. I did use different hook sizes for this one. So this one I used a 5 millimeter hook, and then I was like, wow, that's huge. What would it be if I went down to a 4 millimeter hook? And I think this is more the size that I want to make going forward. But I mean, I'm not mad at the huge one. It's just, it's bigger. Not mad at it. They'll be the same price. So yeah. So that's those. And the last thing that I have finished since our last check-in, I have misplaced. No, I haven't. That's not the last thing. That's why I have more things. I have more things. So coasters. I forgot. I hadn't shown off the sunflower coasters. Higgy Crochet Co. pattern. This is I did end up, I was showing that I was working on these last time. I did end up sticking with all the coral single color for one set. I like the way it looks. I really like it with the deep green basket, which again, played a little yarn chicken with the basket. So it's not as leafy as it's supposed to be. There we go. I just spread out 3 leaves around the edge of the basket because I was running out of the yarn. It still looks cute. It's just not a very leafy sunflower. And then I made the other one. I put the yellows together. So I have the variegated white and yellow and then the yellow together. And then this basket has the full leaves in it. So super cute. I love how this came out as well. Now, if I could only find that last thing. Hold on. Okay, I found it. So this pattern, I have made this once before. It's by Lanarumi Crochet, and it is the mini mushroom backpack / keychain iPod holder. So you make 6 granny squares with the mushroom style granny squares, which she has on her Instagram, and then you assemble them together and you add a button and a little drawstring and your keychain, and it is so cute. So I have this one. I really wanted to do some purple mushrooms, so I did purple with a yellow background and then this lime green edge, which I think came together really, really cute. I'm gonna clip this. Hopefully that will pick up the sound. So anyway, so you add the button to create the clasp. I used my custom logo buttons that I had gotten off of Etsy. And you just put a knot down at the bottom to help hold it in place. And the granny square just naturally has a space dead center from the way that it's constructed for the button to slide in. So that's perfect. And then the drawstring just holds it together and you can keep your iPods in there or whatever brand earbuds that you so choose. But I love it. I think it's super cute. I have one more that I want to make. Look at it. I have one more that I want to make. I'm in the process of with this coral color and some like off white, and then this bright sky blue and a deeper red outline, which I think is super, super cute. So I just gonna finish that up. And then we can assemble it. So let's do that. Okay, I wanted to stop the time lapse real quick because I did something really stupid. So I have the backpack assembled, but I think you can see spot what I did wrong. I attached the top upside down. Now on this one I did pin it first, so I'm not sure how I messed this up, but clearly I did. So I'm gonna have to pull it out and fix it because you definitely do not want the top flap mushroom. Hey Max. Hello Maxine. Are you just gonna just stand right in front of the camera? Yeah. That's a great spot, by the way. Oh my gosh, do not knock the camera over. Okay. She likes to sit in the window right where my camera is right now. So anyway, it's upside down. If it was any other square, I would probably be like, I would fix it. You know I would. I know I would. Let's not lie. Don't tell lies. I mean, it's right this way, and that's probably where I went wrong as I looked at it from the back. So we're going to flip that around real quick and then attach the keychain and the button, and this one's going to be done.
All right, let's do an adjustment of my pillow and then another check in because we have been plugging away. I have all of the makes that I have made prior to today inventoried in my system. I am working on adding the tags to the remaining, well, this one's done. So I just have one more coffee cozy to add the little tag to. I can't find my rivets, which is driving me bananas. So I have to sew them on, which is fine. It's just, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't take that much longer to like sew them on and then hide the yarn in the tag like I just did. But it's just the fact that I can't find them and it's driving me absolutely bananas because where could they have gone? Hmm. They're not down here. What's down here is the Coffee Cozy card that I am ready to attach this drink sleeve onto. So that. I also have some stickers cut out because the price on these is wrong. It's before I added the charms to them. So I have a little sticker that I put over it to update the price. So I didn't have to reprint out the few coffee cozy cards that I had already made. So yeah, slide that on, and they're nice and snug. I like this. I had tried to, like, get fancy with it and use the silhouettes and, like, cut them this price is wrong, but, cut them so that, like, just exactly perfect, and it didn't work out. What works better is just printing them 2 up, straight cutting them, and then just sort of kind of following the angle, because then I can adjust it to the coffee cozy so it stays up on the sleeve nice and tight, which is what we want. So that's 2, and then I just need to add the label to the third one, and then those are all done. So you're just gonna sit with me for a little bit while I work. Since it is Thursday evening, the market is tomorrow. I have my custom orders done. I finished them. I finished the um, crossbody sling at my son's soccer practice the other night. So that got done. And then I worked on the raccoon last night. And then I finished the raccoon last night. All I had to do this morning when I woke up was embroider the eyes on. So we will show that once I get this label put on. Since I got that done, I am now, of course, at not adding. I'm picking things that are off of my condensed list from this week. I had moved some items from the previous week's list to this week and just condensed it so that I could stay focused. And I'm working my way through those in a prioritized order. So it's based on how popular things are, what I'm completely out of, what needs representation. The first of that is the heart chickens. I introduced introduced those earlier this year. It's a free Instagram pattern. The designer, of course, as always, will be linked down below. And I'm looking for my scissors. You can see the chaos behind the scenes here with this. And you're going to see more of that now that I've updated my posting schedule because it will be less like, oh my gosh, it's the day before I said that a video needs to go live. I need to film something. And more like you get to see what happens during the week. It's a hot mess, y'all. It's a hot mess. But you know what? We get through it. And believe it or not, this keeps me sane. So, um, anyway, heart chickens are the next item that I'm working through on my list. I've got one made in black. I think I'm going to stick to traditional heart or not heart, traditional chicken colors for this set. So I have all of this Premier Just Chenille and different variations of brown. So I'm going to do one in each variation of brown and then a white chicken. And then I'll have the full spectrum from white to black. because this is sort of a black and brown. So I think that would be really, really cool. Instead of having just like colors all over the place, we'll just do more natural chicken colors, and then I'll have 5. And I think that's a good number. So I've got 2 chicken bodies done. They're just hearts right now. The third one is started, and I use a 4mm hook with the Premier Just Chenille. And then the last one will be in white. And I do have white and brown and black in posh pearl slash posh chic, whatever we're calling it these days. But I really like the fuzziness of the Just Chenille. And for something this size, I think it makes sense. Plus, I have a ton of Just Chenille. And I don't have as much. I mean, I have quite a bit of the posh chic slash pearl as well, but not as much because these come in cones. So I have cones and cones and cones of these, and I haven't found too many things that I make with them yet. So I think heart chickens are the way to go. Now, poop chicken from Madeline Mako, I would never make in Just Chenille. That is a Naughty Pony make all the way. I will never consider making it in anything else until slash if I ever get my hands on, oh goodness, I'm just dropping things, on Elise Veludo, which I still have not tried. But that may be the only thing that sways me away from the Naughty Pony for the Madeline Mako patterns, because they work up to the perfect size. It doesn't shed. So when you're sewing or when you're just doing your work in the round, like it's so easy, and they're so soft. Like you can't walk away from it soft, which this is too. And that's why I'm making these chickens in this. So that's that. I just cut my sleeves. I can't talk and work at the same time if you haven't noticed. This is going great, by the way. It's going great. Um, all right. So with this, all the makes that I had been making up to today are not tagged, well, custom tagged, eyes sewn on, ends woven in, everything's complete. The only thing that's left to do, they're inserted into the inventory. The only thing that's left to do is to price tag them, which now that I have my thermal printer is so much easier because I can sit and I can put my price tags on them and then put them in the market bags. And then tomorrow at the market, once I'm set up, I can just walk around with my little printers, slap some stickers on them, and we're done. So that works out really well. And it makes it easy because sometimes I have multiple makes of things. They don't always make it to the floor. Sorry, I get distracted by my own reflection. That doesn't sound conceited at all, by the way. So that works out really well. It's easier for me to do it when I see it in the context of the rest of the makes. I might do it ahead of time before I put them in the market bags. Or I might not, since I really, really want to make these heart chickens. If I were to get that done, which is a big if at this point, I have lots to charge tonight. All the devices need charging. My lights, I got new lights. I have camping lights, string lights. All of that is going to be charged. My Square reader needs to be charged. My phone needs to be charged. My travel charger is charged. So that's good. That's been charging for a couple days. That's done. And my microphone needs to be charged because I've been using it, which is also good. So if I get all of that done, I so want to make, speaking of Madeline Mako, her Coda cat pattern that I purchased for Black Friday, and it has just been taunting me. I so want to make it. Oh, so badly. I'm hoping I can make that. I do want to make a coop chicken too, though, because I'm out of coops. They'll take about the same amount of time. And then I also want to get the hatchlings done. I may put the hatchlings ahead of them because I have 3 hatchlings written down. I want to make a squirrel, a fox, and a monkey. which is silly because I have the monkey. I know why I want to make that because it's old. I have a lemonade for a capybara. So I feel like I should make a capybara because the lemon's already made. And then in terms of squirrel or fox for the acorn, what do I already have made? That's the question. Because I should make what I don't already have. All right, so hatchling. Hmm. Hatching. All right. I don't have either a fox or a squirrel. I am sold out of capybaras, foxes, squirrels, and monkeys and koala. All I have is an elephant, two unicorns, two dragons, and probably two cows. Three cows. So hatching animals need to be made. I don't know if it's going to be done in time for tomorrow, though. I should at the very least make the capybara and probably the fox for this one. And I would like to do a monkey because I love the monkey and the monkey sold. I don't do the koala because Mighty Pony doesn't have gray yet. So that's the only reason why I don't do the koala. I could segue, do what I did for this custom order. So let's talk about the custom orders because those are done. And then we can talk about the naughty pony and what I'm thinking I might could do if I want to make a koala. So first up is the dragon scale crossbody sling, water bottle sling is finished. I have sent the email to the customer. She says everything looks great. So they will pick it up tomorrow. I did do the clasp a little bit differently for this one. So when I put it on my water bottle, I found that the top was a little bit, it depends on tension, to be honest. But I wanted to be able to, I found the best way to loop it on is to actually find one of these openings in the row above the last dragon scale to wrap the, let me get my water bottle so I can show it on the water bottle. All right, so on the water bottle, let me move you down. There we go. On the water bottle, I wanted to make it so that it's more secure. Because the thing with this is it's in cotton, it stretches when you start to lift it up. And that's not a bad thing because it still keeps your water bottle intact. But I wanted to make it a little less skewed, a little more sturdy. So what I found is that if I put the button on the same side as the strap, we can loop under the handle to keep it down, find one of the spaces in the row above the final dragon scale texture, pull the loop through because it does fit, and I'm not looking, so there we go, and then wrap it over the handle before then securing it onto the button. I feel this is the best clasp yet because look at that. It keeps the water bottle sling stable and secured. This is how I'm doing it from now on. I have other slings that have the buttons on the other side. I have two other slings that I've made. I might update them so that I can do it this way because I really like this. This I love a lot. Looks great. So this is the custom order for the water bottle sling. I love how it turned out. I'm so happy with it. I'm glad the customer is happy with the photos I sent. So that's fantastic. Same customer, second piece of the custom order, they ordered a raccoon. Now, I had never had a raccoon own. I can show my face again. Not that anybody wants to see me, but I hadn't had a raccoon pattern, but I've been enjoying Madeline Mako. So I was like, she must have a raccoon. She does. So this is Bandit, the raccoon from Madeline Mako. And the custom part of this is that they specifically wanted an orange and purple raccoon because that was the recipient's, they're going to gift it, and that's the recipient's favorite colors. So look how cute he is. I love him. Super no-sew, as most of her patterns that I've done are. In fact, the only piece that you sew is the head of the body. Everything else is crocheted in as you go. You make the ears, the arms, the tail, the legs, all ahead of time. And I also love the shaping that she does on the feet. I think that's so cute and clever, the way that they do that. I mean, honestly, if you put like a little, you could put him on a stand, like even this, like my yarn spinner here. If you put him, well, it's a little big on the yarn spinner, but like you could make him like stand, which I love. I love that about these patterns because the feet look like they're standing. So that's great. So super low sew. I love the tail. You have the option to stuff or not stuff the tail. I stuffed the tail because I like a nice big bushy tail on a raccoon. And I love how he came out. Of course, I embroidered the eyes because I always do. This isn't going to a baby. I just don't have safety eyes. So I embroider eyes. But yeah, super, super cute. Very easy. The yarn is Naughty Pony. And this is what I was getting to about the koala. The yarn is Naughty Pony for the orange and the light purple, and the dark purple is Premier Retro Velvet. It's not an exact one-to-one comparison, but it's close enough. And I was just really, really conscious of my tension as I went to make this work because Naughty Pony has the purple, the light purple, and the orange, but I was like, I really feel like originally I was like, I really feel like they're going to want a dark purple because they didn't say lavender. This lavender. They said purple. They said they want an orange and purple raccoon. So those were the two colors that I had as direction to work from. Naughty Pony doesn't have dark purple. They have lavender. So I was like, all right, I think I can make the retro velvet work. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think it worked great. I actually kind of love that it gives this natural shaping to the legs. They're almost like little chicken legs where they're out and then it goes down to the ankle and then the foot. I think that's fantastic. So I'm really thrilled with how that turned out. And then I struggled with, because looking at the pattern, I was like, oh, there's 3 colors. And that makes sense because there's gray, which I used orange. There's black, which I used purple, and then there's white. And I debated, do I use white? And then I remembered Naughty Pony has the light lavender color. And I was like, just making sure this one. It is. All right. And then I remembered Naughty Pony has the lavender color. And I was like, you know what? I think it would look better if I did the shades of purple and then it would be more themed. So that is how this came out. And just look how cute. He's adorable. And I also love like the shape of the belly on these patterns. They're so snuggly and it's so soft. I mean, oh, it's so soft. So very happy to have him done. Bandit the raccoon from Madeline Mako. Then there's things that I'm not sure if I showed or if I showed in various stages of completion or what have you. So I'm going to get myself together here for a second. Make sure everything is. I made 2 acorns, so I'm making a fox and a squirrel and a capybara. Sorry, monkey. It might not be your weekend. Oh, is it under here? No. Oh, there it is. Here's the thing I'm looking for. Okay. Next, things that I'm not sure if I showed or not, or showed in various stages of completion. I think I did show these. the backpack mushroom keychains. I'm pretty sure I did show these. They hold your iPads, keys, any little trinkets that you want to clip onto your bag or your water bottle or whatever to hold on to. I love these. Super cute. I think I showed them, so I'm not going to go too much into that. And then I made some keychains. So I had previously been making a daisy chain keychain where it's more like a key ribbon with a tassel at the bottom. I cannot find where I found that pattern. I found it on the internet one day when I was riding in the car on the way to the beach. And this was a couple of years ago. I have no idea where I found this pattern. So I moved on and I found a different pattern for a daisy keychain. And I think this worked out really cute. So this is going to be the daisy keychains. They are going to be, what are the prices that I have on these? $12. So $12 each. Little bit of work. I wanted them to be 10, but they're a little bit more work because you have to sew on the leaves. That, and there's a front panel and a back panel and the leaf and the petals. So all together, it ended up being 12 with time and materials. But that's okay. That's still a good price because it could be a bag buddy too. So I've got these two. I made them one in coral, one in this fresh baked bread Karen cotton cake that I had. This was the last of it, and I had mostly white left, so I made one in that, and then one in aqua. So that's very pretty, very bright, springy. I love that. And then I had somebody at my last market kind of making me feel silly because I have never made sunflower keychains slash bag buddies. And she asked if I had any sunflower keychains. I said, no, but you know what? I should. She's like, you really should. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, do you do other markets? I'm like, I do. I will be at the Cary Night Market next month. And she's like, I go to that all the time. And I said, I will have sunflower keychains for that market, guaranteed. Somebody's at my door. Sitters just waved at them. Anyway, so I said, I will have sunflower keychains at my booth at the next market. So I made 5 of these. Again, different pattern designer than the daisies, but exact same construction, which is awesome because they go perfectly together. Although the daisies have a bigger middle. I wish the sunflowers had a bigger middle. I could always make the daisy middle and then the sunflower petals. Although, oh, I know why they're bigger because I'm like, it's the same number of stitches. These do an extra round after you're done increasing. These did not. That's okay. I mean, they still look cute. So anyway, sunflower keychains. I made 5 of these. Also going to be $12. Like I said, exact same construction as the daisies. You have a front panel for the flower center, a back panel for the flower stem, and then you make your leaf and you add you attach them with your petals. 5 of them. Super cute. How I have never had these before, I have no idea because these should be in my booth all the time, no matter what. This should have been the first thing in my booth. Space for Sunflowers, 9 of sunflower keychains. What is that? Anyway, that's where we're up to date for now. Next on my agenda, I am making the heart chickens. We've already talked about that. I received a whole bunch of bags since I was running out of bags. At my last market, I found a new, and it's on Amazon still, but I think a new supplier where they have medium and small together. No, they don't come together. But it's the same maker has medium and small size bags because I previously had small, like gift size paper bags or jumbo really big bags. And I'm like, I could really use something in between because people either need the small bag or more often they need just slightly larger than the small bag. They don't need the big giant bag. So I got those. I do not have stickers printed out. I normally like to put a sticker with my logo on the front of them. If not the front and back of them. but I don't have any of those print and cut right now. I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow to do that, but that is a nice to have, not a must have. I have plenty of other branding on my materials, especially now that my thermal printer adds my little logo to the top of the price tags. Does it? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. I'm lying. I am straight up lying to you right now. Um, does it? Now I'm questioning everything. No, it doesn't. My tags, my tags that I make myself have my logo on them. Which I'm almost out of these too. I don't even know if I'm gonna have time to print and cut these. Oh, because I'm sure I'll need more, but I do have generic tags. Again, I have plain generic tags that I got off of Amazon, still left over. The thermal printer prints and sticks right on there. I can do that if needed. It will be fine. Again, this is a nice to have, not a must have. I think the must haves you okay. You have inventory, you have bags, you have all that stuff. There's a lot more branding wise that I want to do this year in terms of thank you cards, how to reach out to me, that I can stick into the bags with purchases. I don't have any business cards, but I have Christine's tap to follow sign, and I also have a QR code sign. So I think that's okay. That's been getting me by so far. I think I've only had one person that didn't have a phone that asked for how to get in touch with me, so I just wrote it down for her. So that's fine. Yeah, this is all nice to have stuff. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty ready for this. I'm very excited. It's going to be beautiful weather tomorrow for the night markets. Yeah, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this market. This market, I've heard that the space is really beautiful. It's at a park downtown in Cary, and it's clearly well run because they've communicated several times. We actually received our load in instructions like at the beginning of this week. Very specific. If you've never done this before, please respond to this email to tell us you read it. So yeah, they've got their ducks in a row for sure. So I'm very excited about this. It's gonna be a fun market. I will try to check in tomorrow. I gotta pack the car tonight. I gotta tag all these things. I gotta put them in the market bag so that they can go in the car. Yeah, I got a lot to do. So I'm gonna get off of here and go get busy. And I will check in with you either tomorrow before the market while I'm doing something with these chickens, or at the market itself. It's market day. I am so ready for this market. I have all of my devices charged. I bought I bought a single 6 pack of magnetic puck lights. So those all charged last night. They arrived charged, but I charged them up just to make sure. I have my 2 camping string lights all charged up. This is my not usual headwear for markets. However, my friend's wedding in California, they handed these out. Look at this. This is ridiculous. I love it. And as soon as, yeah, so I will be wearing this. So I light up. Love that. And then last night I did finish the capybara. He needs eyes, but he's all done. And his little lemon, the lemon needs a button. The squirrel with his little tail also needs eyes, cheeks, you know, the whole 9 yards button. But the make is done. And then the fox. I love this. And I realized after I added the black to his tail that, because that wasn't in the pattern, but I was like, foxes have like a tip to their tail. I realized it's usually white, but you know what? I like it black because I think if it was white, it wouldn't stand out against the bottom of the mouth. And I like that. I really do. So these are all Green Frog Crochet. of course. I'm so happy about that. The fox, I have been waiting for my Naughty Pony orange to make, even though the pattern calls for red. Naughty Pony red is like red. It's like really red. I don't know why I just did the grudge at you, but it's really red. So I like it in orange. I think this is really cute and it offsets really well with the caramel and the chocolate color for the acorn. I love it. So I'm gonna put eyes and buttons on these guys and then they'll be ready to go. And the last thing I'm doing, which I'm working on right now, is finishing up my chickens. I did end up making 4 chickens. So hold on, let's show them in because I went all in natural colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have the black. So I love this. This is like a full spectrum of chicken. And I did do the bling just flew off. I did do the contrasting wings. I debated doing the wings in the same color as the bodies. And I actually started doing that, but then I was like, you know what, this is gonna make it really hard to like for me to sew on. I'm like, plus I just like the contrast. It looks super cute. The contrast is in the pattern. So I went with what the pattern said to do, which is make contrasting ones. But look how cute that is. Those are gonna look adorable. And this is how I had made this chicken before, because I had made it in this color previously. So I'm gonna sew on the wings. I'm gonna add the beaks, the crests. I think that's all you add to these chickens. I think it's just beaks and crests. And I'm going to add the eyes. I'm looking ahead in the pattern. Yeah, beaks and crests. No, yeah, beaks and crests. I'm going to add the eyes. And for the crests and all of they're going to be red. So they'll be nice red crests on our chickens. And then I'll do the eyes for everybody, add the buttons, and then time to tag and pack everything up because it'll be time to go. So let's get busy. checking in. It was a busy market. For in the last 30 minutes, I haven't been taking footage because I've been afraid that my phone is going to die and my travel charger isn't working. So that's it. How are you? Good, thank you. I do not have geese. Fortunately, I hate geese.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's okay. I was terrorized in college by geese, so
They can be scary.
yes.
I was wondering, one of my friends is having first baby.
Oh.
Her nursery theme is silly goose.
Oh my gosh, that's cute. I have a friend, What's Up Cupcake, who's local, and she makes a silly goose.
Okay, good.
So
I'll keep an eye out.
yes, she will be at Fenton tomorrow.
Okay, if I make it over there, I'll check it out.
Okay. Yeah, so that's fun. How the market goes. Hello, how are you? Good, thank you. I pinned them in so they wouldn't get lost, but there are 4 coasters inside of a leaf pot.
She loves sunflowers and coasters.
Oh, wow.
This is awful.
It is 100% Appa.
So cute. Oh, she likes it. Yeah. Her long leg. Something up. I'm so impressed.
Thank you. All right, let's recap the market. It was a great night. I had a great experience at this market. It was my first time ever doing this market, and there were a few things that I was worried about going into it. First and foremost being the light situation. Since it is a night market, I don't do a whole lot of night markets, mostly because I just don't. Well, and night markets tend to be during the week, and the week is harder for me to get into a market for. So weekend markets tend to be during the day. I have done a couple of night markets in the past, but it has not been frequent. So I did worry about the lights.
my light situation ended up being perfectly fine. I had a couple of camping string lights that we use that I had gotten from REI a few years ago. I actually have a third set, but the third set stopped working, which was frustrating because it was the biggest set. Um, but I had two of the smaller sets of string lights for the mm, size of the tent. That worked out perfectly. So I was able to string the lights around, and they work great because they're like rope lights with these plastic coated little pill light things attached to them, and they have clips so you can clip them. You can just wrap it all up in your um, metal frame, and they work perfectly. So that was great. I had also purchased on Amazon ahead of the market um, puck lights. So they're round lights that have a magnetic back to them. And the ones that I got, I can put a link in the description. I'm not an affiliate. I don't have an Amazon shop or anything set up. Um, but I can put the link. Oh, my dog is barking at me. Put the link in the description below. But these were fantastic. They come with chargers. I've got the charger right here, actually. So I got the set of 6, and I love the charger that comes with these because it's like an octopus charger. It's a single connection, but you can charge 3 lights at once, which is great because I don't know about you all, but my house, finding an available brick in the wall for all these things that require a USB is a struggle. So I'm grateful for that. Charge them up. Mine are also motion detected. They have 3 settings. There's always on, there's motion detected during the day, and then there's motion detected at night. I just had them on the always on, and being magnetic, they also come with a 3M like sticky attachment, but I just took that off and let the magnet be the attachment. Um it comes with a magnet, so you could put it like if you had, like, say on a bookshelf, one of those cardboardy backs, you could attach the magnet and then the puck to it. I just slapped it right on. I have the metal folding shelves. I slapped it right on the underneath of the shelf above it so it would shine down on the products. And then I had 2 extra, and I just had them going across the tent. So just set it up on the metal frames. They'd go across the tent, add some more ambient light. It worked great. They were fantastic. I felt there was plenty of light in the tent. I wasn't as bright as the people next to me who actually had like a plug-in string light situation. So because they used the power source, it was a lot brighter. I don't rely on the power source because a lot of markets I go to don't provide power. So I just don't have lights that require power. Also, we do a lot of camping. So again, I don't have lights that require power because I've gotten accustomed to not relying on power. So, lighting situation was perfect. Everything was great. On all in all, this market was on par. Oh, the second thing I worried about was making enough money to cover the cost because it is one of the pricier markets. I paid, let's see, it's going to take me a second because I do have to pull up reports and things. Why would I be prepared? So I paid $165 to participate in this market, which is on the higher side. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I paid $150. I was looking at the wrong line. I paid $150. So it is on the higher side. Still, $165 is what I paid for the other market I did in Cary earlier this year, where it ended up being my best market ever. This market was on par with that. It was pretty darn close to the top selling market I have ever had. Let's get into that. Again, I have to pull up the reports. Just take a second. And I've got my computer right in front of me, so that's why I'm looking down. Cat's got funk on it. All right, so we go to the reports. If we go to the custom reports, and go to last weekend, it was on the 17th. It was a Friday night market. And if we go to the actual day, because of the reporting methods, okay. So total sales was, drum roll, $633.95 was my total collected. Only $16.09, $16 was in cash. I don't carry coin change. And $617.86 was on the card. I paid $20.25 in Square processing fees, and I am paying $41.95 in taxes. So, all told, once all that's taken out, was $592. Oh, I also did a discount. My neighbor bought something, so I gave a small 5% vendor discount to her. So, total amount was $592 even once you take out. No, that's not right. Total sales, payments, blah, 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 blah. I can't math. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is right because the taxes are in the bottom ones. Yeah, $592 even is what I took home. Subtract out the $150 for the market participation, and we're looking at $452 for 4 hours. I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to lie. How can I be? That was honestly one of the best markets that I've ever had. So let's talk about what sold. I had 29 total transactions. I sold a total of, I think I saw somewhere like 36 items or 39 items, something like that. I'm still making my way around the square. So yeah, we had a total of 29 orders, 29 orders. Total of 41 items sold. I had 37 plush toys sell, 2 keychains, 1 home item, and 1 accessory, which was a scrunchie. I do remember that. So let's break it down into what actually sold. I did also receive another custom order at this market, which, sorry, I'm being horrible. I had another custom order at this market, which I do need to make and deliver before the end of the week. I am very excited about this. A woman, actually, the bookkeeper at the school that my oldest will be attending next year, bought out all of my octos, but she wanted 4. I had 3 octos. She wanted 4. Her husband was like, she does custom orders. And she's like, can you do a custom? I'm like, I can do a custom octo. I have a blue variegated yarn. It's like blues and whites because the octos she bought, there was a green one, a purple one, variegated, and a pink one. So I had a pink variegated, a purple variegated, and a green mystical. And I was like, I've got a blue and white variegated that I can make an octo out of. So that will go great. That will be the 4th octo. So that was, each octo is $15. That was a great sale. Honestly, she wasn't going to buy anything, and then because she couldn't get all 4, and then once we talked about it and she could get all 4 of them, she was able to get what she wanted. And I mean, it seems like a small amount, $15 for a custom order. However, it turned into a much bigger sale. So that was great for everybody. I also sold, like I said, a scrunchie. This was funny because it was one of the event
Um, I'm not sure if she's the organizer or if she's just I'm not sure how she relates to the event itself, if she's the coordinator, but she was helping us with the unload and the load in, load out process. So she came through toward the end of the market and she bought a scrunchie. And the scrunchies had a tag on them that said $6. However, in my Square system, I never updated it to $6. They were in there as $5. So I honored the $5 and because I was like, oh, it's five and whatever with tax. She's like, no, it's not. And she showed me the tag and she's like, six. I'm like, well, it's in the Square system as $5. I haven't updated my pricing. She's like, you need to update your pricing. She's like, also, don't give me a discount. I will fight you. And I'm like, I swear I am not purposefully giving you a discount. It just, that's what's in the system. And it was like 905 or whatever. Oh, that's what I should be doing. I should be going down by the order. I'm silly. Where the heck? Oh my god, I can never find this thing. Transactions, there it is. We should do this in order. All right, we're gonna do it in order. First off, market started at 5. This was a 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. market. First sale was at 5:21 for a mini axolotl plush. I will not be making more of that pattern. I have one left, and I will be making mini axolotls, but I'll be changing to a different pattern. At 5:23, I sold a Hogwarts mystery box. Those are $10. I need to either time myself, update the price, or pick different yarn. Some combination of the three, maybe. But you know what? I'm selling out what I've got. And actually, I did sell out at this market. I brought 4 mystery boxes. All 4 of them sold. So that was the first one. At 5:29, I sold a cherry snail fruitsy, which is a super cute pattern. Of course, all of the pattern designers will be linked below. I make those for $15 out of Bernat. I make a Bernat blanket yarn. 5:42, I sold a shark plush. This was the I had whale sharks and great white sharks. This was the great white shark sold. I think I sold one whale shark and one great white shark. I can't remember which one. Either way, $15. At 5:45, I sold my Sun Blossom Dragon Snuggler. This was to my neighbor vendor at the market, and I was so excited this one sold because this was a $60 plush, big dragon. I believe the designer is Hecklagurian Bamser, one of her paid patterns. I absolutely love this pattern. I mean, I would make a million of them, but I make one at a time because they are bigger and they will take longer to sell. But I had done it in the Bernat terracotta, so like a burnt orange, and wrapped it in vines of sunflowers. Super cute. 5:59, I sold an Umbreon Monster Bag Buddy. 6:05, my last large rose sea turtle. 6:14, a Nessie sold. This is a Madeline Mako pattern. I'd made 3 of them. This was the rainbow one that sold. So it was white with like pastel rainbow colored fins. It was super cute. 6:24, the other shark that I had sold. 6:36, I sold a kitty keychain. 6:39, a mini frog plush. 6:45, the small owl plush. This was the remaining owl that I had. I have 2 owl patterns that I use, and this was the more detailed owl that I had made with acrylic yarn. So I was happy to see that one sell. It was super cute. 6:54 was the big octopus buyout. So all 3 of my octopi sold, and then the custom octopus that I'm going to make and deliver later this week. At 7:12, a medium axolotl sold. I have not been making these for a little bit, so I had 3 of these left over. And I mean, I will make them again. They're very cute. They're little like axolotl baby snugglers. Um, they were selling like hotcakes. my first market season. Then they sort of slowed down again, but I was happy to see this one sell. 713, one of the green frog crochet hatching animals. This was the capybara, which I had made literally the night before. 736, another mini frog plush. 743, my medium daisy sea turtle sold. So both of my flower sea turtles sold. I brought two, sold two. That was great. 752, 753 were 3 Hogwarts mystery boxes across the 2 transactions. So that was it. I'm out of mystery boxes. 757, 2 mini land turtles. This is the Turk the Turtle pattern from Instagram. 804, I sold one of the Green Frog Crochet hatching cows, the Creamoo cows in an ice cream cone. 805, a mini Miffy Instagram pattern. So I call them the dumpling bunnies, but they're Miffies. At 834, I sold a flying bison keychain. It's an abajade art design of Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I make them really small, put them on a keychain. He sold, as well as a set of sunflower garden coasters, which was one of the things that I was frantically making for this market. 838, I sold a second Nessie. This was the blue one. 849, I had a sellout of all of my remaining mini frogs and Turk the Turtles. So there was 3 mini frogs remaining and 4 Turk the Turtles. This customer, she was so funny. It was her birthday, so she was telling me all about her birthday. And she was gonna get a frog, and she wanted it on a keychain. And I said, well, I can put this one on a keychain for you. And she's like, isn't that a little big? And I'm like, it would be bag buddy sized. So she got excited about that. She was going to put it on her bag. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to buy all of your frogs, all of your turtles. I'm giving them as gifts. And then she wanted keychains put on like half of them. So happy to do that for her. Now we'll be making more mini frogs and mini Turk the Turtles. 856, I sold a creeper. 901, a heart chicken. This was the white classic color heart chicken. 903 was the scrunchie that I sold, where we almost fought about it. And then 9:04 p.m., my final transaction of the night was for another one of the hatching animals, this time the fox. Again, frantically made the night before. So that is the market. It was busy, as you can see, all the way through. I didn't really have much of a break. It was steady from beginning to end. I took 20 minutes for the first transaction, but I mean, that made sense. There were a lot of people milling around as we were setting up in the space. Lots of questions answered about what time the market starts, how long the market goes to. There were kids playing music from like this. I don't know if it is called the School of Rock, but it was like a kids' music program, and they were playing a concert down behind us further into the park. So that was great. All around great experience. My first time, like I said, with this organizer. I have applied for more markets with them. I would love to get in for the fall. This was fantastic experience. My only thing that I would say is that I was by myself fully for this market. Load in wasn't an issue because it was broad daylight. Load out was kind of rough because it's the end of the market. It's dark. Market ends at 9. You're packing up. I did not get out of there till 10:30. I will say that. They do have a process for load in, load out. You pull up your car. They have dedicated vendor parking spaces right in front of the park. You unload, you go park your car, and then you bring your stuff over to your space. My stuff, as we have discussed, if you've been here before, is kind of not condensed. And I either need to consider that and get it condensed, or I need a helper for the load out process. Load in's fine. Like I said, not a big deal. Load out was rough because, again, end of the night. And I've been dealing with an injury that was threatening to rear its ugly head by the end of the market from standing all night. I did stretch a bit, but I was making it very slow because I could feel my hip and back area starting to act up, and I did not want it to spasm. Thankfully, it did not. I I was very slow, very careful, didn't lift too much. So that was good, but it did make for a slow loadout. That was the market. Thank you so much for coming with me on this journey. I appreciate every single one of you who watch these videos, who likes, who comments, who subscribes, even if you just click on it. I appreciate you. And yeah, I will be back next week with probably just a look behind the scenes. I don't have a market for a few weeks. Yeah, I've taken the rest of April off. This was my only April market, so I will be back in May with a Mother's Day market. But until then, there is plenty to talk about to prepare for that. So I will see you then.